For this video, we're just going to ice a little cake so that it looks like a little wedding cake. And you can put as many tiers on as you want, but I'm just going to do one just to show you, because it's one that I have made in the past that people have expressed an interest in seeing being made. So I've just iced my little 5-inch cake in fondant. Now, I do have a video on how to ice the cake just plain like that. And what we're going to do is just use some little sugar pearls to decorate it with. So I'll just put some in the lid there. And I'm literally just going to push them into the cake. Now, I don't know how well you'll be able to see me doing this, so I'm just going to push into the fondant. Okay, like that. Put another one just down here. Now, if you need to mark on whereabouts you want them to go, then just put in little dots with a pin or a modelling tool for guidance for where you're going to put them. Okay, and I'm just going to do this all the way around, putting them all the way around there, and then we'll work on the top. So I'll just finish this. Okay, so the pearls are now all the way around the edges of my cake. Now I've just put them on a little silver board for the time being. And what we'll do is we'll just move that to one side and we'll make the little round sphere for the top. So I've got a round polystyrene ball which we're going to cut in little icing flowers. Now, you can use real cake, but I find that it's difficult for it to stay in I find it difficult to keep it in a perfectly round shape. So for a lot of the cakes, with it just being a feature on the top, I just use a polystyrene ball in the centre, and obviously just let people know that it isn't edible on the top. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we'll put a little stick into it that will then feed into the cake. Now obviously your stick doesn't want to be longer than the depth of your cake, and then we'll cover it in icing. So for this I'm just going to use a little lolly stick, a little plastic one that I've got for like cake pops, and I'm just going to push it into my polystyrene. This bit here doesn't want to be deeper than your cake, okay, but it wants to go in pretty much throughout your cake so that the cake will support the ball from rolling either way. So I've just got some white fondant and I'm just going to roll that nice and thin. It just wants to be big enough that you can cover your ball in it. Now you can try and stick your flowers straight onto the ball if you prefer, but I find sometimes they don't stick very well, so I put a thin layer of icing around the ball first. So just have a look for how far around it'll go. Now I'm not going to coat it very neatly at all underneath because it's not going to be seen. So I'm just going to wet it a little bit. So I've just got a little bit of water. I'm just using a pastry brush to just wet the back of my fondant. And I'm going to put this now onto my sphere. So I'm just going to drape it over like that. And I'm just going to rub it on all the way around. Now, if you can get your creases out, then fab. Try and pull the creases out. If not, like I say, it is going to be covered up. So don't worry too much if we do get creases in. Okay, and I'm probably going to have to patch it up where I haven't rolled it long enough. Now, if you get big creases that you can't get rid of, don't worry, just put the creases in. And what we'll do is we'll just cut that extra bit off with the scissors, and then we'll just flatten that bit down. And then try and join it anywhere where you have got gaps. Okay, so that's very roughly covered. You can see that it's not particularly neat. If you want to spend more time getting the underneath bit really neat, that's fine. But because we're going to fully cover it, it doesn't matter. If you were going to have your little flowers more sparse, sort of sparsely spread over it, than what I'm going to do, and you'll be able to see between the gaps of the flowers, then it is important that you do ice it a little bit neater. Okay, so I'm just going to put that to one side, and we're going to roll some more fondant, and we're just going to cut out lots of little flowers now from it. So just make sure you've dusted your work surface. I can't find my little duster, so I've just put it on with my hands. Okay, so I've just got a plain little flower cutter. You can use a different shaped flower cutter. And what I'm going to do is just cut out my shape. And I'm just using a bit of water on the bottom of the flower. You can use edible glue. And what I'm going to do is take in my polystyrene ball. I'm just going to push the flower in there. Now, if you prefer to wet the ball rather than under the flower, that's fine. You can put your water or your edible glue on the surface and then push that straight on there. Now, I tend to start at the bottom of the ball, going round the stick and then work my way upwards all the way around from that. So whichever way you find it easiest really to do it. And I'm just going to pack them in quite tight. So literally keeping going all the way around. Okay, so you'll see I haven't covered it all just yet. I've just done the bottom half. And what I'm going to do is taking out my stick, so I've marked a hole already in my cake. I'm just going to push that into the centre of my cake so I know whereabouts it's going to go. Okay, so I'll put that back in there. And what I'm going to do is just push that now into the hole. Now, I haven't done all my flowers, and the reason for that is so that I can push it into the hole without squashing them. Okay, so if you find it's a little bit lopsided, just work out whereabouts you want it to go. And if you need to leave it to set in place for a little bit, then leave it to set in place. And then we'll add the other flowers. So that's now fully covered, and what you can do is just finish it off with a bit of ribbon around the bottom if you want. If you want to put it on a bigger tiered cake, it does look quite nice as a top tier on a wedding cake. So I'll put up a picture of this so you can see it a little bit better, and then what I'll do is I'll also put up a picture of it on a two-tiered cake that I've done, so you can see the different effects you can get, how it looks different on different cakes. Thank you for watching.
If you liked this video and would like to see more, please click on the images of the other videos suggested. Also, please do subscribe to my channel using the button at the bottom right hand corner of the screen. You can also visit my cake website and my Facebook page to see more cakes and ideas.